For many people here in the Upper Hunter, this is the first major sign of change on the energy landscape. The mining and power industry is the biggest employer in the Hunter electorate, and many people here have had generations of their families working in the sector. AGL first announced Liddell's closure back in 2015, but despite that, there's still a real mix of opinions here in the local community. While most accept the fact that at 52 years, Liddell has well and truly come to the end of its lifespan, and to put that into context, globally less than 1% of power stations operate for more than half a century. However, they're calling for more certainty about what this transition to renewables means in terms of jobs and reskilling and how it will actually play out here on the ground. While environmentalists here are happy to see Liddell close, other people say they'd like a new power station built. But for the people most directly impacted, the workers here, around 180 employees, or half of that, will move across the road to AGL's Bayswater station. A third or so will retire, and others have opted to try something new. But Stephanie, for those people who are directly impacted, it's also been quite a reflective and nostalgic time, and that's been especially so for Ken Thornton, who worked at Liddell during the 1970s. He's written a history book about grand old Lady Liddell.
People said that if you want to know how a power station works, A, either be there and build it, or be there and watch it being built. So that was the good thing. And I suppose in some respects that was what happened to me at Liddell. By the time I got to Liddell, 2 of the 4 units were online.
Ken Thornton there. And Cecilia, how is this set to affect power prices?
Steph, the closure of Liddell has been a long time coming, and the market has had time to adapt. On top of that, Liddell has been operating under capacity for quite a while. The Australian energy market operator AEMO appears unconcerned by Liddell's closure and has stated that New South Wales is forecast to meet reliability measures up until at least 2025. However, after that, things become a little less certain, with Liddell being one of 5 power stations set to come offline across Australia by the end of this decade. Now, the Federal Climate Change and Energy Minister Chris Bowen visited the Upper Hunter this week to thank workers. He said that the closure of Liddell wouldn't cause a supply crunch for the grid, and doubled down on assurances that it wouldn't lead to blackouts. However, he did profess that the government does have a big challenge to deal with 4 gigawatts of dispatchable power coming out of the grid in the last 10 years and only 1 gigawatt being added. He says that calls to keep Liddell open, in care and maintenance rather, is just not a realistic option, and he says that the pace to renewables needs to be fast-tracked.